Let's dive right into what you said on Get Up, because as soon as I saw the graphic make its way onto Twitter, I sent it to you and I said, oh, the ESPN execs told you to say something stupid so that there'd be good reaction from it. And you said, no. You said your top 5 offenses, by the way, I think these are incredible offenses. You said Chiefs, Bucks, Bills, Browns, Patriots, I believe. Is that right?
Bucks, Bills, yeah.
Okay, so there's no Aaron Rodgers there. Okay, there's there, which makes no sense to me. Because they only put pictures of the quarterbacks. Whenever you put Mac Jones over top of Aaron Rodgers, immediately people are going to say, "Oh, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about." Why did you say these things? And what are your expectations of Mac Jones, especially pre-draft, post-draft, and then now after seeing him perform?
Yeah, I didn't rank the quarterbacks. I ranked the offenses. I didn't make the graphics. So whoever put the pictures there, I have no idea. I didn't know they were going to put a graphic of the quarterbacks there. So if I had to rank the quarterbacks, Aaron would certainly be in the top 5.
Kind of did.
When I did this segment, I said, okay, I look at football completely different than 99% of the people who have for 40 years. I'm not going to rank an offense just because they got a great quarterback. Okay. I said that there was criteria that had to be met to be in my top 5. Number 1, you had to have a proven offensive scheme and play caller. Number 2, you had to have a proven offensive line. Number 3, you had to have weapons. And number 4, then it was about the quarterback. So that's why, number 1, Kansas City checks every one of those boxes. Number 2, you also had to use motion a ton. Number 2, Tampa Bay checks all those boxes, even so in the motion use. Buffalo is the only one that didn't check the motion usage, but I think Josh Allen is that special with Dable, keeping Dable. 4, Cleveland checked every single box. Now, the reason why I put New England at 5 is I think New England's going to have a top 5 offensive line in football. Josh McDaniels is one of the best play callers in football. I think that everyone's looking for a singular star in their offense. Randy Moss, Rob Gronkowski. It's not those guys. It's their offensive line is the star. Everyone else just has to be a piece. If you look at Aguilar, Bourne, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, and James White, if you just take their career averages, they're going to average about 320 catches as a group. That's going to be really, really good offensive football. So I think Mac Jones is going to be fantastic because they're not going to ask him to do a lot because their run game and offensive line will be so great. So why didn't I put Green Bay in there? Is that your question?
I mean, you said a lot there. I just found out that I have to give somebody $50,000 at the end of the season because we're now trending number 1. I mean, there's a lot happening here while you're talking about Mac Jones because David Bakhtiari's not playing for the first 6 weeks, being better than the NFC Championship appearing Green Bay Packers offense back-to-back years, going into a 3rd year with Matt LaFleur. I mean, could you please tell me, and thanks to everybody, by the way, PMS Superb Hour, predictions trending number 1. Sure, ESPN will do something like that today. Dan, the thought about it is, how do you not have Aaron Rodgers in that thing? I don't care. You said he's number 4. It's Aaron Rodgers, dude. He's the MVP. You did that on purpose, I think, right? You had to have done it.
I'm not ranking the quarterbacks. If I was ranking the quarterbacks, I would have put them in there. Again, I prefaced my comment, Pat, by saying I don't look at offenses strictly through the vacuum lens of who's the quarterback. I'm not going to do that. I didn't put the Seattle Seahawks in there because it's a first-time play caller. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's a big question mark. I like Shane Waldron. He comes from a great scheme. We'll see how it goes. Being a really good coach and being a really good play caller are different things. I didn't put the Tennessee Titans in there strictly for the same thing. They lost Arthur Smith. We'll see how Todd Downing does. I love Todd. I know Todd. I hope he's great. But we'll see how it plays out on the field. I didn't put Green Bay in there because everyone's going, how could you put an offense led by a rookie quarterback in there? You mentioned Bakhtiari not being there for 6 weeks. That means they will have 3 new starting positions on the offensive line for 6 weeks. 2 of those guys are going to be rookies. You know, Josh Myers and Royce Newman, it sounds like, are going to be the 2 starters. That's a big deal, dude. Like, that's a big deal. Yeah. And so I just want to see how that kind of plays itself out. That's all.
Dan, you listed like your criteria when you were trying to rank these offenses, and I think you said the quarterback was like 4th or 5th. Don't you think, like, at least in my eyes, I feel like if you don't have your quarterback, you don't have anyone. You can have the best line and everything. You could be average, you could be a good team, but you're not going to be great without a franchise QB, I feel like.
No, those are, like, that's a fair point, but I would come back to you with this. Baker Mayfield 2 years ago sucked in people's eyes, right? In 2019, he sucked. What was the fundamental big change in their offense personnel-wise between 19 and 20. A massive upgrade on the offensive line. 3 years ago, Ryan Tannehill sucked. He was a huge bust. What's the fundamental difference talent-wise or personnel-wise that Ryan Tannehill did to Miami in comparison to in Tennessee for the last 2.5 years? His offensive line, his skill position players, the scheme that he's been in. So I get it. The whole, you can't become a great offense without a really good quarterback. I view Mac Jones probably a lot more highly player-wise than a lot other people do. That's a factor into this. But that's kind of, I just don't see it as just we got a great quarterback.
We just wanted to make sure that we weren't going into the season with you just sending out you know what I mean? Like it's nice to know that you do have, legitimate reasons behind it. I thought this was potentially like old Orlovsky, you know what I mean? Like just trying to troll out there and say your things. So before we got to get out of here in a couple minutes. Last question here for you. This is your fault, not mine. It's not. We got a hard out, pal. It's NFL regular season kickoff, dude. Tonight, 9.5 is the spread, okay? That seems to be only going up right now. Do you see it like how we all see it? This seems like a Buccaneers buzzsaw hitting the Dallas guy. I think Cowboys are going to be good, but this feels like this is the Buccaneers game to show out for the Buccaneers fans in front of them for the first time. Tom wants to be undefeated, so he'll give up Are you seeing this game going the same way we are, which is like, hey, this is probably going to be a rot?
Yeah, I do. I just don't think there's anything that Dallas could look to as an advantage of theirs. There's not a single thing that they can rely on and think they're going to have success. And I thought of this today because if you go back to the 2019 season, December, Dak Prescott's got that shoulder injury that got progressively worse. Dak has played healthy 4 football games essentially in almost 2 calendar years. That's a big ask for him to. I think for Dallas to win, he's got to play one of his best games ever. And I just think that's a big ask coming off of kind of what has happened this offseason. So they're not going to win, but him getting reps tonight is going to be good for them going into November and December.